This morning on BRN, small businesses have grown over the past year. Joining me now is Devon Bray of U.S. Bank. Devon, so great to see you again. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Hey, it's good to be back, Jeffrey. I appreciate the invite.
And coincidentally, we're talking about, I think, the same survey we talked to you about this time last year, how about small businesses. And I guess my first question to you is, in your survey, how are small businesses doing today?
Isn't it amazing what a year, and to wake up and to look at the results of the survey and to note that our small business owners continue to be optimistic. I think the survey story, kind of the punchline here, it's optimism, endurance, and then I really love this one, and that's that continual thread that we see, which is that resilient component of our small business owners.
Yeah, and that's great. I mean, small businesses, because this is the area you help small business owners, they're the lifeblood of the American economy. So those small businesses become medium-sized and larger businesses. So they need capital, right, to grow. How are they doing in terms of growth? And you talk about optimism, but are small businesses growing? Because that's the number one priority.
You know, what's amazing is that we had incredibly strong results. Over 73% of our small business owners reported growth. And even more enlightening, our Black and Hispanic owners actually reported higher levels of growth for their small business over this last year, which, when you think about all the economic stressors and the anxiety around inflation and all of those key notes, the growth is happening, Jeff. And I think that's what's really exciting is that optimism is fueled by that immense growth that we're still seeing on the ground here.
And that's great, especially as you mentioned at the outset, inflation. We're all feeling it, gas prices, leasing, rents, et cetera, going up. What are some of the stressors that, when you're talking to small businesses in this survey, that they're feeling? I mean, what stresses them out and creates anxiety about how they're going to make the bottom line?
I love that one. And I think it comes down to the thing that they're most passionate about, and that is their people. A lot of our small business owners, they go out on their own, they invest in their passion and their purpose. And it really becomes down to their employees and the people that are around them. So paying their people enough, really being able to compete with salaries, helping to keep up with the cost of homes and just groceries in general. That stress is very real, Jeff, for our small business owners. So finding unique ways to retain, attract that talent across the board continue to be a number one stressor. But again, kind of leaning into that endurance and resilience component, we're also finding new ways for our employees or for our employers to keep those employees. So incentives and recognition and benefits continues to be a hot topic. And then last but not least, we're seeing a lot of folks really leaning into the digital space. Believe it or not, digital tools on the forefront of a small business owner equals a happier employee because they can do their job easier.
Yeah, I mean, I think about small business. I think about mine, which is a small business. You need social media presence. You need to be able to attract good people. You said benefits are important. How important is like a retirement benefit? Are you seeing, and I know it's not necessarily covered directly in the survey, but anecdotally, are more of your clientele offering retirement plans, retirement benefits, other voluntary benefits such as caregiving or family support?
Absolutely. And I think that's, again, kind of going into that creativity and thinking about, again, how am I going to optimize my team and help retain this amazing family that I'm building? And I think small business really, they consider themselves a family. In order to do that, healthcare, how am I going to offer flexible work hours? That one continues to be at the forefront too. We have a really powerful story of a woman-owned bakery here, Hispanic. She employs a lot of women under her small business, and they've come up with some really powerful ways to make sure that the flexible hours are there, so these moms can be moms and still fulfill their roles as productive employees. But then also thinking about that the benefits, and that is coming into play much more than we've ever seen before. So leaning into different resources and partners to help really kind of band together so that the business owner doesn't feel like they have to take it all on themselves, which so many of us do, and especially
Yeah.
women, we're very guilty of saying we can do it all. But really looking at the various resources available to them to help create attractive workplaces is very important.
You mentioned the growth, especially in Black and Hispanic communities. Uh, what about other areas, such as the younger demographic? I'm going to say younger people versus more mature people. Are you seeing greater growth there? Because the pandemic led a lot of people to say, look, I can work remote. I'm done with corporate America, or at least working full time in corporate America. I want to be more hybrid. I want to do the things I like to do. So is there a breakdown? Does it skew one way or the other for young versus mature?
Overall, still we had over 87% of our folks growing. So even though we saw a higher concentration in our Black and Hispanic, we did not observe a divergence between the two. Now, when it comes to, like, when I talk about AI, kind of gets really interesting, and how AI might be affecting, because you have some of those early adopters and then folks that are maybe a little bit more nervous. But that was also a fun component as you started to see, whether you were an early small business owner, maybe on the younger side, maybe a more mature business. I think one of the fun facts, over 7 out of 10 of our small business owners that were surveyed were like, no, we're excited about what AI can do for me and my business to kind of really help me grow and really bring me into the next forefront of my company's growth.
Yeah, and last question, let's talk about the access to capital, because small business owners, sometimes they can get venture capital money, they can get investments. Oftentimes they either have their own savings or they borrow. With the Federal Reserve meeting in the next week or so, or 2 weeks, I think it is, interest rates expected to come down. How is the borrowing for small businesses? Are you seeing more small businesses actually step up and say, hey, I'd like to have access to a little bit more capital?
Access to capital continues to be a buzzword. So, and you're seeing that across the board. So the wonderful thing is we're seeing a very consistent need, and the need has been on fire. I would be honest with you here, Jeff. Like, so finding ways to give access and grant access to our small business owners, especially for US Bank, is very important. One of our investment kind of components has been to our Business Access Advisor Commitment Program. This is a way for us to be in our diverse communities, making sure that, again, access to wealth, and starting on the forefront to connect them to a trusted advisor and a partner that can really help them, guide them through those stages. So whether you're working with a CDFI there in the local communities, whether you're getting your first credit card, it's learning all the tools and resources that can give you that boost that maybe you maybe underestimated. But yes, Jeff, 100%, we are committed, even business diversity lending programs, to make sure our women, minority owners, and veteran owners are getting the access to capital that they need as well.
Yep, you got to build that infrastructure. And look, you need profits, you need revenue, you need profits, you need access to capital to do that. Devon, great survey as always. Great to see you again. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to having you back on the program again very soon.
We appreciate you, Jeff. Great to see you, my friend.
And don't forget to subscribe to our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse, for all the news in one place. Details at our website. Until tomorrow, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes.